Welcome to the Toolkit.law webinar in legal technology. Today we're going to talk about one of our suites with Toolkit.law. My name's Tom King. I'm the founder of Toolkit.law, and our fellow attorney and team member Gigi Khan is joining us from Pakistan. Gigi, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Tom, and thank you for the introduction.
So let's go ahead and go into Toolkit.law. Let's go into our suites. Remember, Toolkit.law is a collection of 1,500 legal tools, calculators, and utilities. And that is so overwhelming. We bundle them into different suites. And today we're going to focus on the family law suite. If we had more space there, especially on the mobile layout, on mobile devices, we'd call it the family and child welfare law suite, covering both family law matters and child welfare law matters, depending which country of the 80 countries in the world which are based on legal English-based legal systems, we would call it the Family and Child Welfare Law Suite. Let's go ahead and start sharing my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share that. And so we start out here at the homepage of Toolkit.law. Remember, Toolkit.law is optimized for smartphone, tablet, and for desktop usage. Okay. And also don't forget to download the Toolkit.law Assistant extension for any of the 5 mobile devices, for Microsoft 365, for Adobe Acrobat, for Workspace, Zoom Workplace, and Google Workspace. We have this fantastic browser extension, Toolkit.law Assistant, to complement what you do with our website and our mobile apps and desktop applications. Let's go into our suites right now, and we're going to look at the family law and child welfare law suite. So here you're going to see that we have approximately 17 different tools that relate to family law and child welfare law. A little bit of terminology. In many Western countries, when you get married and then you officially break up, it's called a divorce. But what happens if you're together, you never got married, but you had at least one child together? Every country and practically every province or state has a different name for it. In the state of Texas, where I'm from, in the area in Houston, the world's energy capital, we call it a suit affecting parent-child relationship. And try to make us sound really smart, we call it a SAPSR. We abbreviate it. But whether or not you're dealing with children or not, or you're dealing with marriage or not, it's all under the area of family law or child welfare law. And this is to help you organize those cases. Now, remember, first of all, the Toolkit.law includes a free 6-month trial. If you go to the About section and you go to our account plans, you can sign up for a free account for 6 months. This is the best way to use Toolkit.law for intake. Get your clients to sign up for Toolkit.law for a free 6-month trial. And of course, it's only $100 per year after. And they can build their case for you. They can organize everything and then share the data boxes with you. So let's go into here right now. Let's go into family law. The first area that I'd like to point out I'm going to show it to you on our test server. It rolls out in another few weeks on our live site, but starting soon, any box that is a data box in which there's information. I'm in Divorcer. You'll be able to share that information with somebody else. Okay. So if you go into that area and you put in and you have information in there, you save it, and then you have notice that there's not an icon indicating that it's shared. And you go back into it, and now there's a share icon. And what you can do is you can share this with other people. So if I want to look up somebody else on the site, any user, I can then share to them, and this whole data box is now shared with that person. Isn't that awesome? So what you can have them do is, if they're doing a parent-child case, They can put the case information, the father information, the mother information, the concerns, anything about the children, custody issues, income, and then they can share it to however many people they want. So and notice that the icon changes right here to a shared link. And so they can share it to you, they could share it to your paralegal, they could share it to another attorney. You may have a reason as an attorney to share it with the opposing party or the opposing counsel. It is a great feature, and obviously the crown indicates the person who did the initial share, who is the manager or the organizer of this. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's start from the very beginning here. So in the family law and child welfare law suite, the first thing we have is we have an assets tab. Okay, we have an assets tab, an assets page. And remember, with Toolkit.law, every one of our pages is the equivalent of an entire website. Why? Because in each expandable and collapsible accordion, it's a page worth of tools and assistance. So the first thing I want to point out is in the assets area, if it's a family law case, you can put all those areas that are of interest to you. So maybe there's a business that is a community business. You can put the business assets right here. Maybe there are financial accounts, checking accounts, saving accounts. You can put them all here. Maybe there are firearms and there's a firearms collection that you want to inventory. Okay. Maybe there's personal property that you wish to inventory. You can inventory all this here. Okay. Maybe there are Gigi, set a timer right now for 25 minutes. I forgot to set a timer. And just tell me when we're halfway there, when we got 15 minutes left. You can
Okay.
organize your personal belongings, anything from assets from a family law perspective or from a civil law perspective. You can go ahead and integrate those here. Okay. Next, we have what we call is the banker page. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Suites, family law. Next is the divorcer. This is probably one of my most exciting pages that we've developed. Okay. So everything about getting divorced or dealing with child issues, whether or not you were married, is conveniently organized here in the divorcer page. So if there are alcohol issues, we have all these different resources where you can get tested for alcohol abuse on 6 continents here through National Screening Center, right there. We include a basic calculator. And then we have our custody cases, our custody case, our child custody case. So this is where you go if you're not married and you have a custody case. It could be an original case or it could be a modification in any of the 80 countries with English-based legal systems. And when you fill out all this information here, you may say, you put the father's information here, but you may have concerns. Maybe there's abandonment that is acknowledged. Maybe there's adultery that's being investigated. Maybe there's criminal activity and someone was convicted. Maybe there's domestic violence that's alleged. Maybe there's substance abuse that's investigated. And whenever you save this, it'll save it in that area, right? And then when you come back to it, and you decide you want to print this, you can say Smith, you can say uh, Joe Smith, child custody modification. And you could say temporary orders hearing. And what this will produce is the document, all the tabs of information that are inside that data box. And these gray areas are called data boxes, okay? So all this information is combined into one document to use in court or share with the opposing party, okay? And so right now, I'm just gonna call this, well, okay, it gives it a name. I'm gonna open the document. And naturally, it opens off on a different screen. And there's the cover sheet that we create. and there's the basic case information, and each page represents a different tab had we filled out all the information. Okay, with pagination. Okay, page numbering in the bottom right corner, 7 of 9, 8 of 9. Okay, and you can obviously go back into it and edit it by clicking on the toolbar on the data box, and you can see whether or not it was shared with somebody else, and this has not been shared. The sharing gets rolled out in about a week on our site, so it's only available on our test site right now, but in a week you'll be able to see it, and it would have all the information here. So that is the child custody case area. Okay, you can organize your paternity issues, which is parent-child issues. If it's a marriage, you can organize property issues. You can organize spousal support. Okay, you can organize domestic violence information. You can label your exhibits. We also conveniently make that available here. The income calculator. Oh, my stars. Do I love this? I absolutely love this. So whatever country you're in, if child support or spousal maintenance is something that's important to you, no matter how you start with the income, hourly, weekly, biweekly, monthly, quarterly, or annually, and you need to calculate it. Notice how nicely we organize this information for you so that you can see this in whatever denomination you wish. But we also make it so easy for you to share with the opposing side. Or, of course, to print it out as a report with a cover sheet. Here, I'm going to show you how to do it as an email. And then you may choose to attach someone's annual tax return or proof of income or paycheck stubs to this email to the other side. Okay. Next, we're going to look at in suites, in the Family Law Suite, we're going to look at our finance tool. Okay. So here, whether or not you can afford a car loan, compound interest, currency conversion, figuring out what your debt ratio is, the future value of property. Maybe you're in a family law case and you're trying to decide what an asset's going to be worth in the future, but you want to pay that person that value now or later. If you're getting divorced and somebody needs to figure out what it's going to cost to get a new house, that may affect the settlement in a divorce. Whether or not you can afford the loan, what mortgage costs will be, or what the mortgage will be, the present value of money, number of different financial tools that we provide for you right there. Next, of course, if you're in a family law or child welfare case, many times you have hearings. So we have a whole hearing manager. And this hearing manager, it gives you an alarm clock if you need to set a time for how long you have to speak in the courtroom. It covers what your burden of proof is. Of course, the burden of proof in different countries is different, but these 5 seem to be universal for many of the countries. Gigi, in Pakistan, do these 5 levels of burdens of proof resonate in the Pakistan culture?
Absolutely, they all do.
And what many people don't realize is after India and America, Pakistan is number 3 in the world as far as English speakers, and law school is taught in English, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
And all of your judges must be bilingual, and all laws are both in English and in Urdu, correct?
Absolutely, yes. You need to be bilingual in order to be a judge. Even if you're a lawyer, you need to know both languages.
Fascinating. So here we have a quick reference to the five core burdens level of burdens of proof, but you make your own notes. So you make sure that you have the right burden of proof for your case. You have your case summary, you have your countdown, um, you have your cross-examination questions, your direct examination questions, your exhibit list. You can create an exhibit list right here, and it'll organize that for you. And this is a great laptop or tablet or even cell phone organizer. Okay. So that is your hearing manager. Homemaker, if you ever in a divorce or in a family law case have to organize how much everything cost, what you spend money on. Maybe you're going in to try to settle a divorce and to figure out what one of the parents or one of the adults' budgets are. This helps you do all that. So there's household budgeting, there's groceries, there's all the expenses, repairs that you may need to organize. And of course, all you have to do is go to your accordion, the your accordion at the bottom, and select which of these you want to print, and it will print them with the cover sheet on it for discovery or for the other side or for your hearing.
And if I remember correctly, Tom, the Your accordion is available on all accordions in all suites on Toolkit.law, correct?
That's right. And what it is it's a convenient place for you to add additional bookmarks to other websites that relate to that area. Sometimes it has the printing option if it's applicable. Other times the Your accordion is for you to just add bookmarks right there. I'm going to share my screen again. I got to tell you, I really love this page. So, we are all messed up in life and we all have problems. Maybe we have alcohol issues. Maybe we have anger management issues. Maybe we need to be blood alcohol tested because of drinking issues. Maybe we have domestic violence problems. We offer courses and solutions globally for all of this. Maybe you're in law school and you need to improve to get into law school or to pass your bar exam. Okay. So we have lots of different ways for you to improve yourself personally or professionally. We just happen to call it improver. Maybe it's substance abuse. Maybe you need a great international parenting course. Okay. So we have access to all of this and we put it in our improver page. We talked a little bit about it before, but we talked about our calculators, our income calculators. So we do have a special accordion for the American tax bracket. We also have a commission calculator if you need to calculate commission. We have all these different ways for you to calculate your annual income based off different places that you start. The one I love the most is if somebody claims they don't know their income, then you can just add up what they spend money on each month and it'll turn it into that same calculation. So if you have a party that claims, oh, I don't know what my annual income is, I haven't done taxes in a number of years, you say, okay, how much do you spend on electrical? How much do you spend on entertainment? How do you spend on fuel and gas? You get them to estimate this exhaustive list and it turns it into a calculator. It calculates their income. So income unknown. I love this. If you need to count money, how many $1 bills, how many $2 bills, how many $5 bills, how many $10 bills, how many $20 bills. This to me is just crazy.
Oh, wow. Is it going to add up all of that and give you a total sum?
There you go. There you go,
Wow.
right there. So if you're counting money, it was an easy calculator for us to do, but it's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
I love that. Okay. You also can calculate there's a net worth calculator and there's also time card calculator. And again, we have a commission calculator here if you have a sales position, but we also have a tips calculator here. So you can calculate tips. Okay. We have an investor page. And here on the investor page, oh, well, look at that. They haven't rolled this out yet. Gigi, please make a note that page
On
needs
it
to
right
be
now.
updated, the investor page. Okay. It organizes your investments. Next is the legal calculators. This is one that you'll find in many of the different suites. A blood alcohol calculator, exhibit labeler, because it deals with numbering, right? Exhibit numbers, exhibit watermarking. So if you want to add a watermark to something, you just put what it is there, and you apply the exhibit label. It must require that I upload the document. I thought it worked on the test document. Let's stamp it. Oh, great. Would you please, Gigi, make a note that the fix they did last night did not work on the stamp. So what this does is it applies a text watermark in the background. Then you can change the opacity. But we can see under the legal calculator in the numbers section that the exhibit watermarking accordion isn't working, but that'll be fixed tonight. When
Got
you
it.
have 1,500 different tools, Gigi, be sure that whenever you send that feedback to someone, that you include the web link to the accordion.
Okay, got it.
Okay, great. So let's go back to the Family Law Suite. That was legal calculators. You know how we were able to organize assets? Well, we can do the same thing for liabilities. And so when it comes to liabilities, it may be for a civil lawsuit, it may be for a personal injury lawsuit, it may be for a divorce lawsuit, or whatever you call the separation of two people who are married together. So we have alimony obligations, bankruptcy obligations, and you could say, as crazy as this sounds, mother number one, I have 10 years left to pay $500 a month. Then actually, it wouldn't be mother, it would be wife. It'd be wife number one. But what also if you had wife number two that you got divorced from and you have to pay her for 20 years at $1,500 a month? Okay. This calculates your obligation. Look at that payoff. Divorce never pays.
Oh, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's your outstanding obligation, okay? And that's what you're paying total and annual each year. 2,000 a month, 24,000 a year over the 10 years and 20 years for those obligations. And of course, you can email it. And Gigi, would you please add here on this accordion that they need to add the print feature? They need to add the copy and print on the liabilities page under alimony obligations. Okay. You can also download it right there as a PDF file. Okay. So these are all the different types of liabilities. It could be credit card obligations. It could be home mortgage loans. It could be personal loans. It could be student loans. It could be taxes that you owe. And then you go to the your accordion at the bottom and you print it all up as a single report. And again, the print and the copy features are missing on all of these. So in the update that we did last night, somehow those got taken off. And Gigi, you're going to make a note to add that regarding our liabilities page in the Family
Already
Law
done.
Suite. Litigator. Let's go ahead and go to the litigator page. Actually, we already it's very similar to the hearing manager. So alarm clocks. If the judge says flip a coin, well, guess what? We got a coin toss. Okay. As silly as that sounds. Okay. We also have document conversions. If you're a litigator, we have page numbering that you can add. We have legal bills, legal hours, legal invoice generation, legal rate. Okay. But what I really love, and you're going to find this throughout the site, is our matter and clients. This is how I do all of my billing right here. Okay. And you'll notice here, this is where I do all of my time in billing. It works great on mobile devices. Great on mobile devices. This is the best and simplest matter and client billing tracker. And then what you do You can then generate the email, and it does a summary of the costs, and then you attach the report. So there's the summary right there that would be listed. And then you attach the PDF report that you just generated here with the download, with the cover sheet, and it works fantastic. Notice that we also download it as a spreadsheet. Gigi, would you note that it also needs the XLS format, not just XLSX, but the other Microsoft Excel format. So this is in the matters and clients
Okay,
accordion.
got it.
Okay. We do a mediation memorandum generator. What a great way to protect against a grievance from a client, right? Because in many types of mediations, attorneys hardly ever do mediation memorandums. So I'm the attorney in America who invented online mediation in 2017. 95% of my attorneys in family law cases do not do mediation memorandums. But those 5% who do, if they ever get sued by a client or a grievance filed against them, what a great way to show that you were in the top 5% that went above and beyond. I always do mediation memorandums, and this is the tool that I use to organize it all together. And soon, this will have our share feature listed right up there. So your client can help you in the drafting of the mediation memorandum, or you can share it with them when you're done. Right now, you can see that this one is not shared because there's not the web link icon in the bottom right corner of the icon in the left of this data box. Again, these are called data boxes, and this is the data box toolbar. And I should have pointed this out. Whenever you're anywhere in Toolkit.law, you can easily access either all the components of the suite that you're in, or you can find, if you're at the bottom of the page, you can access any of our 12 plus productivity suites from the bottom. Okay. That was our litigator matter, our mediator. What was that? No, that was our matter tool. Yeah,
Okay.
in the mediator tool.
Thank
Well,
you for explaining all of that, Tom. We're sitting at 5 minutes right now.
perfect. Okay. So um, we talked about the matter page uh, features the matters and clients accordion, but you're going to find this accordion in 8 or 10 places throughout the website. So the hearing matter, the litigator, I think it's in the juror tool for picking a jury if your country does jury trials. We want to make it very in the divorcer page, a number of different pages because you want to be able to quickly and easily get to your matters and clients documentation for keeping track of how much someone owes you and what your billing status is. Okay. Um, so we continue in the family law suite. We're all the way through mediate. Let's go to the mediator. In the mediator, among other things, this has a great note taking tool. So if you, again, there's your mediation memorandum generator. But in the bottom half, you can track up to 12 at a time. And you can keep track of the notes while you're doing this. You keep track of the notes here, and then you can either email it, all the notes of the mediation to your paralegal or yourself. You can download it as a document, and we even offer web hooks into these other different platforms. Okay. So this is a very forward looking note taking tool that'll generate it into a report whenever you finish a mediation. Okay. So that again is the mediator tool. Back into the family law suites. Monetizer, money related issues. If you need to organize this, basic calculator, cash accounts, credit cards, credit reports, credit scores, currency converters, exchanges, budgets, anything where you need to organize the money aspect of your life for a child welfare case, for a divorce case, maybe for a civil case or a personal injury case. Realty. Maybe real estate is involved in your case. These are our real estate calculators. You'll notice many of these, how much the apartment rent is, whether it makes sense to rent or to buy, if you need to do an FHA loan in the United States, whether or not you can afford a home, how long it's going to take to do a mortgage repayment, a mortgage calculator, real estate commission, real estate profit, property taxes. This allows you to do everything. So perhaps you're in a mediation and you need to quickly calculate these for a family law case, or you just need to organize this as part of discovery. Your client can do all of this and print them out. Okay. Once again, we're going to the suites. We're going to the Family Law Suite, and we're going to our last two. One might be if you have to prepare taxes, and the other one is if you have to organize and show vehicles. So here on our taxer page, you can organize information to help you prepare for your taxes. Okay. And then you can print all of these and give it to the individual or the firm that prepares your taxes. It's what I use to prepare my taxes. And finally, we have the vehicular. So if you're ever in an accident, if you ever need a vehicle appraised, if you ever deal with dealerships, if you have to calculate fuel costs, if you have leases, if you have loans, if you have licenses, anything relating to vehicles, including ownership and maintenance, we have this here for you. And of course, you can print out everything that relates to what you need to turn over or what you filled out right here, and it'll put a cover sheet on it. So in summary, we are at Toolkit.law. We're in the suites section, and this is our conclusion to our family and child welfare law suite, which has 5, 10, 15, about 17 different tools. So remember with Toolkit.law, it can be overwhelming because we have put together so much here for you with your free 6-month trial and your $100 per year cost that includes the 24 hours of this CLE that you're taking right now. But if you look at the center of the homepage, start with the suites and then gravitate to the area that is most of interest to you. And this concludes our section on the Family and Child Welfare Law Suite.